Today we are in the fourth industrial revolution. Everything we know is changing. Education is changing, but we have to respond to the needs of industry. Industry is changing. The world began with the first industrial revolution, which was the era of the steam engine. It moved on to electricity. From electricity, we went to the era of computers. They were huge devices, and some of them will not fit into this room. Times have changed. Now our watches are computers. Now in this era, we've moved into the fourth industrial revolution, the time when there's a merger between the electronic and biological. You can do facial recognition and enter your home web. You don't need a key. The researchers are telling us that within the next 10 years, in some countries, 40% of all the jobs that we know today will disappear. How do we prepare our nation for that kind of world? How do we make sure Ghana is relevant in the global system? How do we make sure we can compete globally? That is what brings us to Education 4.0. But contrary to what people thought when computers were emerging, that teachers were going to be replaced. No, teachers are not going to be replaced. But the work of the teacher is going to be enhanced by technology. Recently, I was watching a video on YouTube where in a classroom in the US, the teacher assistant is a robot and was supporting the teacher with instruction. He was able to call on students who have not answered the questions for that day and say, "Johnny, you haven't spoken today." And then that artificial intelligence device was able to tell students that your answer is right. So we are moving into that era. But we should know that in education, you have to look at access, quality, and relevance. You have to ensure that the vast majority of your people within the country have access to education. And that is why various initiatives are undertaken by the government and geared towards making sure the vast majority of Ghanaians will have access to education. You also have to make sure your education system is relevant to the socioeconomic needs of your country. So when you hear STEM, we're talking about meeting the 21st century needs of Ghana. A nation like Vietnam has a population of 90 million plus. Every year they produce 100,000 engineers. Every company in the world that is doing manufacturing wants to go to Vietnam. Samsung has its largest manufacturing plant in Vietnam. We are 30 million, so as a mathematics teacher, you do ratio and proportion, and that takes you to about 33,000 a year for Ghana. Unfortunately, we're about 6,500. We are not where we need to be in order to attract industries. We talk about after. How do you tell the world that they should come and invest here and supply and distribute to Africa when you don't have the critical manpower to take us there? By intention left out, I said access and relevance and left out quality. Quality is something that we have to ensure that we have. But you can't talk about quality without talking about the teacher. If you don't have the teacher, and you don't have the qualified teacher, you don't have the excited, motivated teacher, quality will elude you. I'm sure most of you have heard about Fiakubi Ampim Senior High School and the great transformation that is taking place there. I was there on Sunday. I spent time with the students. I was there last year, and I went back. I found a student that I sat at a table and ate breakfast with, so they were working with me. It was a very beautiful day for reunion with those students who sat at the same table with me and we ate breakfast together. I went and saw the things that they have invented. I was amazed to see how Ghanaian young ladies can come together and they get an unmanned aircraft flying, going 1 square mile, coming to land. Today, Zipline has approached the ministry. UMAT wants to partner. Ministry of Defense wants to partner. We are going to be able to bring high school students, university students together and be able to create drones in this country. That is the Ghanaian innovation in action. We have built over 10 STEM high schools across the country. We have junior high schools under construction that will move junior high schools from 19th century to 21st century education system powered by STEM. We haven't left out the arts, because the review of the new the high school curriculum is ensuring that students will become more well-rounded and be able to offer a course in visual arts, even if it's for a year. It doesn't have to be 3 years. Science students can do art, and why not? Because they become well-rounded. So I'm telling you that our education system is seeing a major transformation. But when you hear of the story of Efia Kobe Ampem, and you are amazed and you are excited that some transformation is taking place. In fact, and it's no longer going to be a club. Aviation and aerospace is going to be offered as a course in our high schools. It has been done. It has been done in the US for years. Aerospace academies begin with KG students, and they move all the way to high school and beyond, and they go to work for NASA. They do internship at NASA when they are in high school. Various countries are beginning to see that you have to create a pipeline. If the first time your students are hearing about aviation and aerospace at the university, you are late. It has to be a pipeline, and that's the pipeline that we are creating. But the story of Efia Kobe Ampem and now formalization of aviation and aerospace programs in selected high schools next academic year will not be complete unless you talk about Mr. Ferdinand Sam, a geography teacher who always wanted to be an engineer. At KNUST, he was working with his friends in solving their engineering challenges for them. Mr. Ferdinand Sam, a geography student at KNUST, always wanted to be an engineer. He didn't get a chance. But he became friends with engineering students who were specializing in aerospace and aviation at KNUST. He worked with them on their projects. From there, he was sent. He became a teacher, geography graduate, went to Bolgatanga, taught there, was then transferred to Efia Kobe Ampem, where he founded the Aviation and Aerospace Club. You clap for him. So without me, Mr. Ferdinand Sam, originally from Abakrampa in Central Region, there will be no aviation and aerospace club at Efia Kobe. The talent of those young ladies wouldn't have come to the fore. Without Mr. Ferdinand Sam, we will not be thinking now about creating aviation and aerospace academies in high schools in Ghana. So today I want to say I've got the opportunity to meet him. When I went there, I also brought him to my office in Accra. I want to thank him for his dedication. I also want to underscore the fact that the transformation of the Ghanaian education system will depend on innovative, dedicated teachers like him. So as we talk about recognizing teachers, we need to look for individuals like him and recognize them for the work that they do for children every day. So I'm grateful to the sponsors for supporting National Teaching Council, providing the prizes that we give out. I want to appeal to you today that this year double your prizes. Because I need a vehicle for Mr. Ferdinand Sam. And I hope somebody will donate a pickup for him. Yeah, I like that. Someone say it is possible. So, I want to today thank NTC and its able leader, Dr. Adepoku. See, when it's interesting to see him sitting in his own hall, a hall named after him. Not many of us will get that privilege. That in your lifetime you sit in a hall that is named after you. So I'm hopeful that he'll do something great at NTC so that we'll name some place after you. Because you like it when we mention your name. So the NTC Lyceum should come, and then I'll commit to naming a hall after you. To all those head of agencies, come together, support NTC. Let's do a fantastic job this year. Recognize teachers for the work that they do, and let us all together forge ahead a course to transform the future of this great nation called Ghana. I believe that better days are ahead of us and not behind us. Don't pay attention to some of the assertion by my colleague politicians who will come to you and tell you that this government has done nothing in education. Politicians are our worst enemies. Because sometimes I look at it and I'm saying to myself, as a citizen of Ghana, if I was not a politician, how would I feel when I hear both parties lambasting each other and discounting the achievement they've chalked with the taxpayers' money and saying that they've done nothing? I'll tell you this. Politicians have done some good work, so when they are lying to you, don't hear them. When we're in parliament, we don't say those things. We eat together. We have fun together. We get on TV and we lie to you. To get you so frustrated. Because how on earth can somebody say that the teacher-student ratio at senior high schools in Ghana is 1:24,000? And the newspaper carries that banner headline. Senior high school, teacher-to-student ratio, 1:24,000. So that means we have like 1/20th of a teacher. 24,000. No school has a size of 24,000. In actual fact, it's 1:15 at high schools. Junior high school, about 1:14. So that's why I'm saying be careful. There's so much going on with your support in the education space. Don't let us downplay it and diminish it. Let us applaud those who have done the work. That is why I salute teachers every day, and that's why I'm honored to be part of the teaching fraternity. Teachers have worked hard under COVID, difficult time, and yet they came and taught the students, prepared them for exams, and they did better than the time when there was no COVID. Thank you. Selfless devotion to duty, the kind words you say to students, the encouragement you offer parents who have never stepped into the classroom is what transforms their fortunes and their families. When I was in class 3, my teacher told my father, who was uneducated, that your son is very smart and one day he will go to the university. My dad, uneducated, did not know what a university was, and he asked, what is a university in any day? Then the teacher explained to him that's the last school anybody can attend. So he came home and he said, yeah, teachers who have been in school, and I tell you, when I finished my PhD at the University of Southern California, my last course, I got out of the elevator, tears was welling up in my eyes. The prophecy of my father had come to pass. The prophecy told him by a teacher had come to pass. I had finished my last course in the last school, PhD, from my uneducated father. The dream of that teacher for me, transmitted through my father, had been accomplished. That is the work of a teacher. So NTC, grateful for the invitation, and union leaders, let us work together to create a better nation, a nation that we'll all be proud of, a nation that will live true to its full name and potential. We are the bright star of Africa, the black, and it's still a star. It's black by shining. should be proud of this nation, forge ahead, change Ghana, so that when the history is being written, our generation will be the generation that changed the course of history of Ghana. Congratulations to everyone. By virtue of the authority vested in me as the Minister for Education, I declare the 2023 Teacher Prize duly launched. Congratulations. College of Education. Oh, he wants to tell us something. Let him say.
I'm a student from Presbyterian College of Education at Ogbonge, and I'm here to present a pencil art to the Minister of Education.
What year are you? Level 400. So you graduated?
No, I'm
About to.
Yes.
And you were training visual arts?
Yes, visual arts.
I see. Good, good. Let's stay in touch. Excellent work. Congratulations to you. So, President of Brinko, get the unions. You're in the CETA. Okay. He has to come and help. So he has committed to ensure CETA cause of the strike, right? Madam Chair. This is nice.
Another surprise for the Registrar of National Teaching Council.
Oh,